Hey everybody, it's Jesse, and today I wasn't exactly sure what I'd be doing, so that's why the title for this one is purposely vague. Right now I'm working on the resources page and on the new user interface for that page, and I was actually just adding an Atom package to help with my code formatting. So we talked about this yesterday. I think Sebastian brought it up, and I have it on my laptop, but I'm going to install it now. So today will just be like maybe just some random things. I'm getting to the end of the list here, so let me show you. So I showed you yesterday how much was left that I needed to get done. Basically, most of it needs to be done this week. I have maybe a day or two next week, I think, that I can work on this, but it needs to be done. But I was able to complete a few of them, but then go through this, and I moved a bunch of them over here into this category so that if time allows, I will do it. So we'll see. If I can get through this, then maybe I'll do some of these. But after I read through them again, I realized, some of them weren't as necessary as I thought they were when I first put them in these rows. So for at least for now, we're going to start out working on the UI, which is already taking me longer than I thought it would take. In particular, right now, I'm having this problem. So I have this drop down, and this uses a little bit of JavaScript, some Jquery from the Materialized framework. So it needs to be initialized to be able to do this. But what's happening is it's getting initialized before the data is populating. So I need to figure out a way to stop that from happening. So I'm double checking right now that I actually have. Yeah. So let me pull this over onto from my other screen just to show you kind of in the code what's going on. Make it a bit bigger. It's too big. Okay, so you see we have, here's all our data is coming in with our categories for resources. So the people in charge of putting in the data, which actually I think it's just one person right now, is in charge of putting in data in WordPress, have evidently been putting in some categories, which is awesome. It gives us more data to work with. So they're here, they're getting put in here. But you can see when this gets initialized, what the user sees is this list. But all that's in this list is the first option because that's hard coded in there. So I need to initialize it afterwards. So I'm thinking maybe there's some lifecycle method in React that could help out with this. So right now I've made a component for this select thing because I'll probably reuse this on other pages, probably the blog page, possibly the events page. So I thought it'd be better just to pull this out into a component. So within the component, I put in component did mount to initialize that select input. So I'm thinking maybe I'll have to find a different lifecycle method. And if you're not familiar with React, that simply means like component did mount is a lifecycle method. It's something that happens during a certain part of the life cycle, like the life of a component. So when a component is going to mount, when it actually did mount, when it's going to update. So there are a bunch of them, so maybe we'll have to go to the React docs and check out some other ones and try it out and see if we can get this working. So other than that, I had some pull requests, so let me show you the new stuff. Had some good stuff in here. Let me find it. I thought I had it ready, but maybe I didn't. Yeah, I must have navigated away from the page. So I'll just bring this over. So this will show one of the pull requests that I haven't brought in yet. Let me go. Hey everyone. Okay, I just saw in the live chat Vinay said that he has a pull request. So yeah, we're gonna check it out right now. So this is Vinay's request, which is pretty awesome. So I pulled down the branch to my local machine and tested it out, and it's working great. I just haven't merged it in yet. So basically, what Vinay's done, and since he's in the live chat, he could explain it more in the live chat as well. And if I mess something up explaining it, he can correct me. But basically, he switched to using Preact, which is a smaller version of React, right? So he switched to that, and it makes everything smaller. I'll show you, and you can check it out as well. This is on the repo, but let me show you some of the things. So you can see the bundle has gone from 271 kilobytes down to 143. So it's pretty significant drop, percentage-wise, in the size. So that's really cool. Also, he added this this analyze command here that will basically bring up a page like this, and it shows you all the dependencies, everything's going on in your build. So it's really, really cool. And I was actually able to see, I wonder if you can see it on here. I don't know. I saw it when I ran it. Anyway, there were some things that I'm not using in the newer versions of the resource page, like masonry, that were in here that I could see that now will be gone. So it was just kind of cool to get a visual of everything that's going into the project and be able to see the size. I was kind of surprised how some pages are bigger than others and trying to figure out why. So really cool. So you can, if anybody wants to check it out and try this or anything, the pull request is here. You could pull that down if you want. I will be merging this in probably later on, either later on today or tomorrow morning. I'll be pulling that in. I did want to ask though, so I've never used Preact, so I want to ask if anybody has used Preact. I'd like to know what your thoughts are on it. Did you have any issues with it? So far, testing it out just locally, everything works. There's no errors or anything happening. So Vinay did a great job. But since I've never used it before, I just wondered, should I be looking out for something? I read through the docs a bit just to familiarize myself with it a little more. But I'd really like to hear your opinion on it. So anybody that's used it, please let me know. If there's no objections, then I'm definitely gonna merge that in and use it. So let me show you. I had another request too, and yesterday I talked about that Andrew had submitted a pull request based on the search, and then he also had some comments on how to make it even better. So he actually went, I opened up an issue, and then he went and made a pull request that did everything that he had recommended. So really awesome. So it looks like, I mean, it seems like he put in some time to this, you know, based on what all was changed and everything. So he pulled in the debounce from Lodash and used that. So you can check out, the code is all on the resources page now. So you'll kind of see it as we're going through, because we're going to be in the resources page. And you could, you know, we might go through it briefly just to see what was done. But if you want to check it out in more depth, this is actually on, it's merged into the master branch now. So you can see it in action. I haven't pushed anything from master up to the live site yet. So you could see it in GitHub, but you won't be able to actually use it unless you wanted to download the whole repository and run it locally. But I will be pushing things up either later today or tomorrow. So anyway, Andrew, thank you so much. This was awesome, and I really liked reading through the code both from Andrew and Vinay and just learning from what you both did. So both of you, thank you. This was really awesome, and I guess I'll show the contributors page. I think I should like have this up on the screen just every time I start, just so that you know, like you're gonna get up there. I guess if I started getting a ton of contributors, they wouldn't fit on the screen, but for now it's nice. If I get any more, it's gonna be a little tight. Maybe 2 more could fit. But anyway, I just want to make sure that you get the recognition you deserve for helping out. So that's why I show this. So let's. I'm just going to jump right back in where I was before I started the stream and just continue on. Oh, actually, I got a few questions. Let me go over a couple of questions first in the live chat. I think it's just maybe 2 of them. So Josh asks how to set up the night theme on GitHub. Okay, so I had a lot of questions about this yesterday. So let me show you. Basically, you need 2 things. You need Tamper Monkey, which is a plugin for Chrome. So in the Chrome, I don't know if it's called the Chrome store. I don't know what they call it, but where you normally get Chrome plugins from, get Tamper Monkey. Then once you have Tamper Monkey, you'll want to get the GitHub Dark, and I'll copy. Let's see. Let me get the URL, and I'll just put it in the chat. Alright, it looks like the update URL and the download URL is the same thing. So this URL is where you should be able to download this code. So you'll want to run this in Tamper Monkey and then enable it for GitHub, which I think it's all set up for. I don't think you really have to set up anything else except just put this code into Tamper Monkey. So that's basically it. You may have to, if you don't know how to use Tamper Monkey, you may have to mess around with it for a bit, but it's really not hard. I think it's pretty straightforward. It's basically just a place where you can put JavaScript and have it run when you go to a certain site automatically. So you put in the JavaScript and you say which site to run it on, and it runs. Really straightforward. And then once you have it on there, you have this new settings panel, this GitHub Dark settings panel, and you could do, you can change everything. You could customize it. You could even go into the code and make your own theme if you wanted to. I just used the default theme that came with it. I haven't even looked at any of the other themes yet, but I guess it would be cool to match it up to the theme that I use in my code editor, so the highlighting would be the same. But for now, I'm happy with it how it is. Okay, the other question I had was, let's see, I lost it now. Okay, Adam. So Adam asks, did you graduate from FUS, which is Franciscan University of Steubenville? So that's the university that I work for. So no, I actually didn't graduate from FUS. So I went to actually the cheapest college in the state of West Virginia. And if you're not familiar with West Virginia, it's one of the poorest states in the United States of America. So obviously, the United States of America is, in terms of average income, it's higher than a lot of other places. So when I say poorest states, it's relative to the United States, which basically means to be considered poor in the United States, by government standards, you can still have a house and a car and cable television and internet, and so it's not really like you're destitute. But basically, the school I went to was so cheap, I think I only ended up paying like $400 or something to go there after you took into account like scholarships. And I did get student loan money and things, but I ended up investing my student loan money since I didn't need to use it. I guess I needed to buy books, so I take that. I did have to pay for my book, so that cost a little bit more. But I ended up making $700 off of investing my student loan money, and then whenever I was done with school, I just paid it back immediately before I had to start paying interest. So everybody is always talking about how much school costs, but I think I actually made money off of college. So I was a business major, and I wanted to be a stockbroker. So that was very in line with what I wanted to do. But anyway, Franciscan University is quite a bit more expensive than the university I went to, which was West Liberty State College. It's West Liberty University now. They changed the name, but when I went there, it was just State College. But anyway, Franciscan University is not like one of the most expensive colleges out there. It's pretty affordable for what it is, but it is a small private college. So small private colleges usually are more expensive. So anyways, sorry for all that. None of that really had anything to do with code, and it was a long answer to a simple question. But I just always like to tell the story about me making money off of college, my college loans. Back then, though, the interest rates were a lot higher, so you could make more money off of really safe investments. And so I mean, like money market funds and stuff had high interest rates. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Right off the bat, we have a question about the text editor, the code editor. So Sebastian says Windows Notepad for the win. I actually used Notepad to start learning how to code. So that was the first thing I learned how to code on back in, I think, like 2003, maybe 2002, somewhere around there. So somewhere around there, I think I learned on Notepad, which was super fun. I'm somewhat sarcastic. It was fun to learn how to do it, but doing it on Notepad was not fun. Anyway, I'll keep it short in terms of talking about the editors, and you all can talk about as much as you want in the live chat. I like Atom because I've been using Atom and I have a lot of packages set up in Atom, a lot of plugins. But I also use Visual Studio Code occasionally, and I will say it seems faster than Atom. So one day maybe I'll switch if I ever take the time to set up similar packages in Visual Studio Code. But those are the only ones I really have very much experience with. I did use Notepad++ when I was developing on a Windows computer. Before I switched from Notepad++ to Atom like years ago. So Notepad++ was okay at the time. I wouldn't have said I was a serious developer at that point, so it worked, but I would never go back to it. Okay, so let me get back and do some coding, and then I'll check back in the live chat. And so if you've asked a question, stick around for a couple minutes, and I'll check back in. But I'd like to try to keep a nice balance between coding and the chat, if I can. All right. So the problem right now is, how do we get this to initialize after the data's come in? And the potential solution is, let's look up lifecycle methods for React components. I guess I'll go. The official docs are probably a good place to go. So let me make this bigger. And I could probably, I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger on the screen too. Okay, so we're already using component did mount, and obviously that's not working for us right now. So any lifecycle methods that happen before that are not going to be of any use to us. So maybe component did update. The other thing is this says when it's being re-rendered. It's possible that this will always fire, since we're making an API call to get the data for that. So that might work. It's worth a try. So we'll try component did update. And let's check out, see what's going on. Oh, hey, it worked there. Awesome. I want to do two things. I want to try a full refresh, and then I want to try to click on these links, do like client-side routing, and make sure it still works. So let's go to events, and then we'll come back. All right, that worked. Awesome. So here's a good tip. For some reason, I've had a few questions about using jQuery with React. So I had a discussion on Twitter about it recently, and in the live chat I've had some comments about it. We did a stream about it before, but this is some good advice. So if you need a component to have some data that you're waiting on first and then initialize it, component did update seems like it's the way to go. Alright, so that solved that, and that was a much faster fix. I'm so glad I had something that I fixed more quickly than I thought. Usually it's the other way. I think something's going to be easy and then end up spending an hour on it. But the next thing is, I don't really want to keep this with this color. That's not it's not the color. So I got to decide what color I want to make this. Do I want to keep it white or not? And then, well, what color text? I know this background is black, but I don't want to make this black. I'm not even sure that I want to keep this black for now anyway, but I'm not going to mess with it right now. At the very least, I'll change these colors to this red color that we're using for links here. And I think I'll just leave it at that for now. And if I get any ideas on something else, I think that should be okay. I wonder how many categories they're going to add in here. I was just thinking this may end up becoming quite large, which, I mean, I guess if that's what they want to do, that's fine. It might be difficult to scroll through everything. At least it's in alphabetical order, so that should help get through it. Alright, so I'm going to grab the hex color for this and then apply it here. I'm going to check out in DevTools quickly what that color is, where I need to put it. Where is this at? I think that is not. Let's try this again. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay. So here's what we want. This span inside the li. So looks like the drop down content, we'll change the color here. So let me just grab this. So let me see my component. Yeah, I'm gonna I'm glad this happened because I've discovered something else that doesn't work when I'm using jQuery. Okay, so on some of my components, you could see that I've used like this CSS, right here, either in a style tag or directly in line. So when I'm using these things from the Materialized framework that use jQuery to manipulate the DOM, which I just don't have time to rewrite them in a better way for React. But let me see. Basically, what's going to happen is I can't put it in line because you can see here that list, all those LIs don't even exist. Those get added in when it's initialized. I can't put it in that style JSX tag because what that ends up doing, let's see if we can find something. Okay, so what ends up happening is like here, it's given this data hyphen JSX number, and that's what's used. Let's see if I can find a style for this. Okay, so that's what's used for these styles. So if you could see over here, the stuff in the style JSX tag in the component ends up being converted into something like this, where it uses these IDs. Well, what will happen is if your component has features that are going to be dynamically added after the fact, then it's not going to get one of these IDs. So whatever in the background does all this is not even going to see those elements. So you can't use that. So you basically have to go back to plain old style sheets. So I was trying my best to get everything I could out of this style sheet, and I found I was trying to take as much as I could and put it in the components, and it wasn't working. And that's how I eventually found out, hey, it doesn't work if you're adding things dynamically. So I'm still going to have to keep some things in the style sheet. I won't be able to put it all in the style JSX tags. So anyway, just wanted to fill you all in on that in case you were working with something similar. So what I need to do then, I think I copied what I had to copy, but I need to put it in this style.css, and I'm just going to throw it down the bottom. So my CSS file is a mess. I was trying to edit things earlier, and it's like really, I guess I didn't copy what I thought I copied, but it's actually getting really hard to edit things because the CSS is just all over the place. So I really need to take some time and work on that if I do get time, which I don't know if I'll have time anytime soon. But that's also if you're kind of just starting out and you want to get a you want to build up your GitHub profile, that might be something somewhat simple to start out with, just to go through and mess around and see how much of the styles here you could pull out. You could either take out completely because I've already duplicated it in the components, or pull it out and put it in the components, make sure it still works. That's just kind of tedious work that's not difficult, but it just takes time to do and to test. So I know sometimes it can be hard starting out contributing to projects, so it's good if there's some kind of like easier tasks And as always, I don't expect anyone to contribute to this project. You know, I'm happy of you all just watching and everything, but if you want to, I really do appreciate that. Let me see. I need to grab the color. I thought I had it out here somewhere. I guess it would be down. Yep, I have it down here. I will say this, if I was really setting this project up in a better way right off the bat, I would have like a CSS that gets imported, and I could probably be running Sass, have variables for my colors. Potentially I could even set up like real JavaScript variables, since I'm using JavaScript within, or I'm using CSS within the JavaScript. So there's a lot of different ways I could do this that are better. If you haven't been watching, from the beginning, this was a conversion from a static site. So a lot of this is just left over. And in reality, some of the things that are still in this CSS file aren't even being used at all, because they were even pulled over from a previous site that was entirely different, had a different color scheme, but it was a good jump start to this project. So there are things that are in here that have never been used on this project, that just never got taken out. So I'm not saying that's a good way to do things, or just explaining the current state of the project. So I need to do a hard refresh, because I don't get to refresh when I edit a CSS file. The auto refresh. Okay, that looks a lot nicer than the yellow. It's definitely easier to read, and it fits better with the color scheme. Alright, that works. Now I don't think I have this working yet. Yeah, it doesn't work, so maybe we'll do that. So I did get this working, which this wasn't difficult. It was just a matter of adapting the code that I think Fabian had done a pull request, and I just needed to adapt it so that I wasn't using masonry and I was instead using these. I can see this. I'm not getting the border on this top one, so I'm not really worried about it now, because I think Bill, who's frequently in live chat, sent me some code to do a nice effect with a horizontal rule instead of a border, so I'll probably replace that anyway, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. But let me commit this before we go on to the next thing, and I'll do it on this screen so you all can see, especially if you're new to Git and to the command line, to give you a little bit of extra info about it. I'll explain it as I go along. So we're on a separate branch. We're not on the master branch. We're doing all this new stuff on the new resource UI branch. So if you want to follow along in the repo on GitHub, that's the branch we're on. So we're going to go git status, just to make sure what's changed. Okay. Occasionally you do a git status and you see something that's changed and you don't know why. So I always like to do it. Unless I'm absolutely sure of what's changed and it's only a minor thing, I always want to check. So resources component has changed, the style sheet has changed, and then I've added this material select component. So that's good. That's expected. So we can do git add and put a dot to add everything. And you can see now everything's ready for me to add a commit message to. And then I can type git commit, and then if I put the M flag, I can put my message right here. If I leave out that flag and I just hit enter when I hit git commit, it will pull up whatever your preferred editor is, which by default might be Nano, but for me, I think I set mine to be Atom. So then you would have to put in your message otherwise, like that. If you have a really long message, that's probably the better way to go. but this is faster if you have a short message. So in this case, mine would be and I don't think I've really done anything else. That pretty much sums up what I've done, I think. And we have an error. Oops. So init select is not defined. So what I need to do is just put in an exception so that it doesn't throw this error anymore. So that's cool. I'm glad it threw that error because I don't think I ever explained live why I needed to make these exceptions. Okay, so let me show you. So up here, I've needed to put this in. So when I'm using some type of like init function that I have here in my app.js file, how I've done this, it throws an error if I try to use it without putting this in. So init select. So now it will ignore the fact that this is not defined. So there are better ways to do this as well too. This was kind of a workaround to get all my jQuery stuff to work. Now we'll try again. It should work this time. Well, that's alright, so that works. And I'm going to push that right up to GitHub immediately so you all can see it if you want to. And I'm going to check in the live chat now since there's quite a bit going on in there and I don't want to get too far behind. So next step, I'm saying this out loud so I don't forget as well. Next step is going to be actually hooking this up so when you click one of these it actually works and it filters. Okay, so Vinay says check out Preact Compat, which I used. It adds React compatibility layer for Preact. The only issue I face is with the React transition group, for which we can alias to RC CSS transition group. Okay, so I did read a little bit about the Preact Compat, so I saw that that's what you had used. I guess it was in the package JSON file. I saw that. So that's if you're just joining and you didn't hear at the beginning, Vinay has submitted a pull request that would shift everything over to Preact, which is a more lightweight kind of version of React. And he's also added something so that it's compatible with what we've already done called Preact Compat. So Vinay's saying there's one issue. So I'm not exactly sure what the issue is. I mean, Vinay, it sounds like you have a handle on it. Just let me know, is this an issue that should I wait on pushing this out to the live site to production, or should it be okay? Because I have no experience at all with Preact, so I'm relying on you, on Vinay, and all of you to fill me in on any potential pitfalls. Okay, let's see. Hey, Xana's here. Hey, didn't notice. I saw it yesterday. Xana, I saw you said goodbye, and then I didn't even get to that part. So, sorry. I did say goodbye on the video, but I think you'd already gone. But so a belated goodbye and a hello now. Okay. Alright, now I see. Most of what was in the live chat was still talking about code editors, as usual. Okay, I see now. Xana just said, yesterday when I said I was sorry, I meant sorry you had a tough weekend. You know what? When I was driving home from work yesterday, it hit me that that's what you were talking about, and I felt like an idiot because I just totally forgot. Sometimes it's hard. it's hard to keep, since I can't keep up with the live chat and code at the same time, and I have to take breaks. It frequently happens that I forget what I had said, just a few minutes before, and then you all were responding to what I had said, but I just don't get it because I don't remember. So I don't really know a way around that because there's just usually a lot of activity in the live chat, so I really can't. I don't think I could do both. I couldn't respond to every message as it came in real time and still code. So, but I'll do my best to try to remember that. But anyway, thank you for that, Xana. I appreciate that. I had we had a loss in the family over the weekend, so yeah, I was just pretty down about that. And I think I didn't realize it yesterday, but this morning I woke up. I think I'm starting to get sick, like a cold or something. My throat's a bit swollen and it hurts, so that might have been adding to it. But I was just feeling a little weird and down. Like I don't know if it's ever happened to you, but I was literally like, I was sitting here, I was working yesterday morning, writing some code, and like out of nowhere, it was just like I felt like I was gonna start crying. And it just passed over me. It was like 5 seconds, and then I was okay. But I was like, man, like what is going on? I think it was just like the emotion of everything that happened. Like I just was really busy, and it hadn't hit me until like that point, and then it just all hit me at once, and then I was okay. But we'll see. I'm actually gonna go see. I go to a counselor once a month, and just for some like minor depression and stuff. But I see him later today, so in a couple hours. So maybe I'll bring it up and make sure I'm not going crazy or anything. But anyway, enough about my mental health. Sorry for the tangent. Okay, we got a question. So Vibehav, I'm not sure to pronounce that, so really sorry. I know I probably messed that up. It's VAIBHAV. Says, unemployed, I stay at home all day. How can I keep learning to code and build projects? How can I be productive? I would say if the trouble is like just staying motivated to be productive, try to find projects that you really care about, and then maybe that'll be extra motivation. If it's something you can get excited about, then I think it'll be a lot easier for you to keep going. Also, this is somewhat, I guess, unrelated to coding, but I found it's helped me out as well. If I can get in a little bit of exercise, every day, I find that I just have more energy and motivation, and I'm much more likely to actually do something. And sometimes I'll get a bit of exercise, and a solution to some coding problem will come to me while I'm exercising. And so I think there's something about the effect of exercise on the brain that helps you work through problems like that. So if that's a possibility for you as well, that could help. But I know it's tough. I went through a period of being unemployed, and then I've gone through, when I was freelancing, I've gone through periods of not really having clients, or not a lot of clients, and those are tough periods to try to go through. But if you can try to like set a schedule for yourself and try to be consistent, that can help too. Set some goals. But hopefully, keep me informed. Keep us informed. Maybe it would be good if, occasionally if you can join us for the live chat and just let us know what you're working on, everything, then that might help as well. That, you might get excited about, filling us in on what you're doing. And if I remember and I see you in the live chat, in the future, I'll ask you how things are going. So you have a unique name. I haven't seen anybody else with that name, so hopefully I'll remember and I could ask you. But anyway, hopefully that advice helps. I'm sure some people in the live chat have some great advice as well. Court says in Russia computers have only 2 gigabytes hard disk. That's crazy. Is that serious? Is anybody else from Russia? Can you verify that? Because that sounds really, really crazy. I mean, if you were like on a Chromebook and had cloud storage, that would be fine, but that would be really crazy. Jordan asks, what packages do you use? I don't know. I have a lot of different packages, so I don't know. I can't really go through them now. Maybe I'll try to make a video on all the packages I'm using. I guess I could, while I'm going through some of the questions in the live chat, I'll put up on the screen the packages I have. I need to configure this, but I won't do it on screen because that'd be kind of boring. But if you want the style JSX tag to be highlighted properly, there's a little bit of code you have to put in here. So I'll need to find out where that code is and copy and paste it. I think it's in the documentation for NextJS. So if you wanted to use this to get better, syntax highlighting and things and auto indentation, just know you have to put that little bit of code in. So let me show you. Here's just some of the packages I have. I know this is a little bit small, but if I make it bigger, you won't be able to see as many. So I'll leave this up here for now, and I'll scroll down a bit in a few minutes, and that way you can see what I'm using. Court says, go coding. I want write code now. Are you meaning that I should quit talking and write code, or what? Or you want to write code? Either way, if you want to write code, go ahead. But I'll get to the code in just another minute. There's not a lot left here in the live chat. Okay, Sebastian said that yellow is unreadable, at least in the stream. Xana agrees. Yeah, for sure. That yellow, I've had issues with that. I actually found a slightly different shade of that yellow that works a lot better. So I've used it in some other sites. If you convert the color from a hex color into like the HLSA color or something, I might have those in the wrong order. You can darken it, right? So you can keep basically the same color but darken it a bit, and then it makes it much more readable, but it doesn't really change the color that much. So it appears to be the same color, but it's just a lot more readable. So I've switched to that color on my newer projects, but I think the one that was still there was left over and kind of like the base theme that I always use for university websites. Oh, Xana said, I hate it when CSS is all over the place. Yes, me too. It just happened, At some point, you just start getting so much CSS, and if you don't, like me, I just didn't stay on top of things, and then it got out of control. So I'll have to keep that in mind the next time I'm doing a project, so that I'm more disciplined about my organization right off the bat. Okay, Sebastian says you can import your CSS in the component, so you can make a CSS file per component. So yeah, Sebastian, that's a better way to do it, and that's what if I have time, I'll probably go that route. The reason, as I said, that it was in one big component or one big file was because that's how it was written in the site that I came over from. So you just never got around to actually splitting it up. Okay, Jeremy said a couple things and then retracted and said, "Never mind, I got it." So I'm glad you got it on your own. Ivo or Ivo says, hey James, I've been following the live stream along for a little while, and I understood that you have built a React Jas website with WordPress as the backend. And then Sebastian corrected as Jesse. Yeah, so it's cool. I know what you meant. Actually, when you said that, it reminded me of the characters from Pokemon, like the Team Rocket members. One's named Jesse and the other one's James. It's like, my kids are really into Pokemon right now, so that's immediately I thought of that. So anyway, to continue on, Ivo says, I'm really curious as to how this worked out for you and what the lessons you learned about this project. My previous internship used a Drupal backend and its HTML engine. So Xana did explain, he just uses the WordPress API to pull data out from another website. That is true, yeah. And Evo apologized for getting the name wrong. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. So anyway, he said the solution with the Drupal engine usually involved writing custom JavaScript code, which always overwrote each other and made a huge mess of the HTML as well as the application state. Yeah, that sounds like a mess. Yeah, so anyway, like Xana said, since I'm just taking the data that's entered into WordPress and I'm not using their templating system at all. So that kind of eliminates a lot of the issues that I would have if I was trying to work in to the actual, like, the templates. I'm not sure what the terminology is in Drupal. I haven't worked with Drupal that much, so the terminology might be a bit different from Drupal to WordPress, but normally these templates are made in PHP and then they get rendered server-side with PHP into HTML. If I was trying to use JavaScript or React in particular with that, I probably would have run into more issues. But since I'm doing it this way and I'm basically just dealing with data coming in the form of JSON, it makes it a lot easier. So I actually am interested, though, in how you would potentially do a similar thing with Drupal, because there are some sites connected with this site that I'm building that are built on Drupal. So there's a learning management system that this site is going to direct people to, and then they'll go and they'll sign up, and it's like I think a yearly fee or something, and they'll be able to take all these courses. That system is built on Drupal. And then there's another site that's a magazine that's associated with this website, and that site is built on Drupal as well. So potentially, if I could expose Drupal data through some sort of API, I could pull it into this site as well. That would be nice because the people entering in data wouldn't have to duplicate data. So I'm interested in that. I don't have direct access to any of those Drupal sites, like to the back end, so I couldn't implement anything, but there's an outside company that is building those. So potentially, they would have to set up the API, and then I could use it. But I assume that Drupal could do something similar to what the WordPress API does. It'd be even better if it would use GraphQL instead of a regular REST API, but that would be ideal. If you haven't heard of GraphQL, check it out. It's GRAPH and then the letter Q and the letter L. Really, really cool. It's like I suspect that it's gradually going to take over a lot of things that use a REST API now will switch to GraphQL. But for right now, there wasn't an easy way to do that with WordPress, so that's why I just stuck with a normal API. Oh no, Sebastian said apparently what I said about CSS doesn't work on NextJS. Oh, I'll have to keep that in mind. So splitting up things into like separate CSS files for components doesn't work. So I'll have to check that out more. There's got to be some better way to do it. Also, Sebastian mentioned, by the way, you're missing the border bottom in the first item from the list. So yeah, I did. I saw that. Let me switch back to here. Actually, let me put up, while I'm going through this, I want to put up the code. Oh, here it is. I had the code on the screen. What am I thinking? I want to put this up here so you can see some of the stuff that Andrew did to change, basically make the search function a little bit better, so it won't make so many API calls. It works better with like the mobile virtual keyboard. So You can just kind of check this out now. Of course, this also on the GitHub page. Sebastian says, sorry to hear about that. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks for saying it. Anna says, we're humans, not robots. Crying is natural. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It was just odd to have it happen like right in the middle of just working. Just going more often in nature helps a lot. Actually, that's a good idea. I haven't spent that much time outside for a while. I did go to the beach a couple weeks ago, so I'd spent some time at the beach, but that might not be a bad idea. I actually have like my house has a little over an acre of land around it, and part of it is just like, you know, a bunch of trees and stuff. So, but I rarely get out and actually enjoy it. I'm always, you know, coding or doing something. So maybe I ought to just go out and walk around. Take the kids. They probably like that. Okay, Xana had some advice for VibeHave, which, like I said, I'm sure I'm probably mispronouncing your name. If you want to try to explain how to pronounce your name, I will definitely try to pronounce it correctly from now on. But anyway, the advice is write emails to startups out there. I'm sure you could find an internship. The best way to learn is coding real stuff, small tasks. So anyway, that's great advice. I would have never even thought about that, of just emailing different companies for internships and stuff, but that's a really good idea. Jeremy says, in the same boat, but the live chat helps me. Hey, I'm really glad that the live chat is helping you all. I think the live chat is one of the best parts about this. That's why I take so much time to try to read out everything that I can in the live chat for the people who are watching later on, because if the show was just me talking, it wouldn't. I mean, it would not be nearly as good and helpful for people. I think you all make it so much better. Okay, yeah, Ratha asked, can we watch this afterwards? And Umberto says, yes, the video is posted in about 5 minutes. So thanks for answering that. I'm just reading it out loud in case, you know, anybody else. I imagine there might be some people watching this that can't look at the live chat for whatever reason. Maybe they're just listening to it and doing other things. So just wanted to read that out for those people. Xana recommends, let's see, following sites like Remote OK or internships, and found a startup. Cool. So Xana actually was able to find a startup for an internship. So that's awesome. So that's definitely really good advice. So if you're in that same position, you know, just trying to get some experience and, you know, just doing side projects and things, you know, definitely try to get a hold of companies you like and get an internship. Ivo says, I've checked out GraphQL before and it's really interesting. Would recommend it as well. You pronounce my name as Evo. Okay, awesome. Dutch pronunciation is weird. Okay, cool. Alright, so I'll try to remember that. So Evo. That's actually fine. And I used to teach Latin, and in Latin, there's a couple of different ways you could pronounce Latin, but in the pronunciation style that I used in my class, you would pronounce an I as E anyway, so that's not really that weird to me. Sebastian says, check out Gatsby.js. I've heard about Gatsby. I haven't used it yet, but it sounds really cool. Jordan says, there is a Drupal plugin for REST API. Awesome. So that's cool. So I'll have to remember that. So it shouldn't be too big of a deal then to have this company install the plugin and set up a REST API if we need it. That's awesome. Xana says, I was on Fiverr, not sure how to pronounce Fiverr for a while, coded small things for peanuts, especially CSS, JS animations, but I also learned a lot from that. Yeah, cool. I was on a similar site before too, and that's kind of how it goes. You don't really make a lot of money off of sites like that, but you do get experience. So if that's what you need, then it's definitely. I mean, it's better than doing nothing, right? Oh, Vipav says I did pronounce the name correctly, so awesome. Xana said gave up on Fiverr because people there mostly asked me to copy things from other sites and didn't like that, felt like stealing. Yeah, that kind of stinks. I mean, I'm all for getting inspiration from other sites, but just straight copying, I don't like that. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a difference between learning from other people, but and copying from other people. Okay, Evo said in regard to the Drupal plugin, the Drupal REST API plugin, checked it out. Didn't really have that much time to investigate. So, I mean, I'm assuming that it works in a similar manner to the WordPress plugin. I mean, at least in terms of getting the data. The way data comes out of REST API is somewhat similar. For most places. Okay, Adam says, thanks for taking time to share this. Appreciate it. Oh, I appreciate you saying that. Thanks. Thanks for watching and contributing here in the chat. Asks, how did you get started collaborating with freeCodeCamp? I'd love to do some things with them with teaching Angular. So actually, for freeCodeCamp stuff, I started live streaming on my own YouTube channel, and I did a few streams, and then Bo from freeCodeCamp, who does all like the JavaScript tutorial stuff, he, I guess, watched one of my videos. So I posted in the freeCodeCamp forum, and I wanted help for people to give me tips on like how to improve my stream. So I explained what my idea was for the stream, which was just to show people what my normal workday is like. And I asked for advice. And so I think he saw that link in the forum, watched one of the videos, and then he asked me if I'd be interested in doing some streams on freeCodeCamp. And so I talked to Bo and I talked to Quincy just through email. And I ended up doing some streams, and they liked the streams, and so I said, well, I'll stream here every day then, if that's all right. And they said, yeah. So I'm streaming, and I let them know, Quincy and Bo both, that if they ever don't want me to stream anymore, to please let me know, because I want to be helpful to people, and if I'm not helpful, then I don't want to waste the time on the channel. But evidently they must be happy with the streaming. I think they are. Quincy occasionally will drop into the live chat, and he seems to be happy with what's happening, and told some people on Twitter over the weekend that I was doing a good job. So that's how it happened for me. I kind of really didn't I didn't imagine that would happen at all. So it was a very, very nice surprise, and enabled me to basically instantly have an audience of people, because I think my YouTube channel has less than 500 subscribers, and freeCodeCamp's over 170,000. So definitely much better subscriber base here. All right. So anyway, Adam, if you want to do things with freeCodeCamp, then just reach out. I would say reach out to Bo or Quincy or both. You reach out on Twitter or in the forum. Probably Twitter would be the most direct way. to reach out. And if you have any examples of videos or streams that you've done already, then that would be cool to just say like, hey, you know, check this out. I'm interested, and just see how it goes from there. I can't really help you any more than that because I don't really have any decision-making power within freeCodeCamp. I just, you know, I do my little thing, you know, and that's it. I think that's kind of how it works. Everybody that volunteers with freeCodeCamp just kind of does their own little thing to help out. And you know, there are definitely some people with Quincy and everything that have more oversight over things, but it's very much like kind of a decentralized thing. You know, there's a ton of meetups all over the world and things, and those are very, very decentralized. Oh, Aim High is here. Hey, how's it going? So Aim High recently got a job. So how is it going so far? I was really excited about that because Aim High will come in from time to time into the live chat and give updates from even like in the job hunting process, and then through the interviews and everything, and then getting a job. So I'm really excited about it. All right, so I'm gonna get back to coding because I just spent a really long time in the live chat. So I see there's a couple more things that were just posted in the live chat, so I'll get back to those in a minute. I think these packages have been up on the screen long enough, so I think I'm probably safe to I guess I'll leave them up for now so I don't forget about configuring this package. But for now, as I said, the next step is going to be making this work. So when you click one of these, it actually does filter this out. So let's just check out some of the filters that we already have, because this is not going to be very different from what we're already doing. Actually, oh, did we already set this up? Yeah, we did. I can't believe I forgot that. Yeah, I remember this now. Yeah, because someone in the live chat had given some code for this, and I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was. So I'm really sorry about that. I usually am somewhat decent about remembering who contributed. So really sorry, I can't remember who contributed this little bit of code. It wasn't a pull request. It was just you know, copy and pasted into the live chat. But in any case, so we do have some filter by category stuff going on, and then we're just changing the state, and then that is what we'll filter by. So I don't know if we actually put the filter on though. Hold on a second. Let me see. If I post resource category. Okay, so we actually filtering. Filtering here. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what we did since I didn't even remember that we did it. Okay. All right. So this. Okay. All right. So this category thing in the state is what actually populates that select, that drop down. This category is what is the filter is going to be based on. So this is going to change. So it's going to be not the category name, but the category number. So 0 is going to give us everything. So let me go down and so when we do filter by category, if it's 0, see, we return true for everything. Otherwise, we're going to return. So I think I have some check in here for undefined that'll return false. Otherwise, it's actually going to take the category and return things with that actual category. So what we need to do now is take that select input and we want to make it so that every time something changes with that input, it changes state. Okay, this is going to be a cool thing to demonstrate, right? Because I don't think we've done this yet, at least in the stream. So what we're going to do, so this input exists in another component. So it's not going to be as straightforward as it normally is. You know, we can't just, you know, call this function, you know, right here. So what we're going to need to do is actually, we're going to make a function that sets the state to whatever the value is of this select, and that function is going to live here, right? Because this state needs to be in this component, right? Because this state is going to change things, you know, on this page. So first things first, let's make that, but then we're going to pass that function as a prop to here, and then we can do our on change to get the value here. And on the change, what's going to happen is we're going to call that function and we're going to pass in the value into that function, and that's going to make it actually run the function here, change the state here and resources, and then a state change is going to trigger a re-render, and then that's going to be what filters everything. Hopefully that made sense. If it didn't make sense when I explained it, it will probably make more sense when I actually do it. So first thing we're going to do, let's put this, we'll put it by the filter to keep them together a bit. So let's say set category. That works. Alright, so we're going to do set category, and we're going to pass in category number. I'm just going to abbreviate that as cat num. And let's, basically all we're going to do then is go this set state, and we're going to take category, and we want to set it equal to cat num. And that's it. This is going to be just really simple. So now we need to go down to here where we have material select. So let's go okay, so I think that's how we need to do this. If this ends up not working, I actually just did this on a project I'm doing for the Udacity course that I'm taking, so I can double check it on there because I've had to do this a few times for that project. But I think that should work. So now this will get passed as a prop. So in here, let's go to select input. And actually, I gotta remember how to get a value. From a select input, because I haven't done that in a long time. So on my other screen, I just looked up how to get the value. And the first page I went to, alright, is not great, so let's go to Stack Overflow. Everybody's giving Jquery answers. Oh, I don't want Jquery answers. Actually, I kind of want to see, where's my select input? Okay, the values are there, it's correct. So I want to select something. Alright, so that's selected. No. Alright, so just straight up value does not work. I guess I will have to look it up. I thought I might get lucky and just try it. Maybe I have to see which one is selected. Can't believe I'm getting stuck on something so simple. I know I've done this before, plenty of times. Maybe it's .val. Okay. Well, in Jquery it's .val, which is not going to help me that much because I don't want to use Jquery. Let me try to find it, what it is using just JavaScript. It looks like it might just be value. Let's just try it with value then. Alright, so on the select input, we're going to do an on change. And we're going to say on change, and let me see. Actually, I think I do want to see how I did this on my other project. So let me bring it over. It's probably worth sharing. So anyway, so this is my, no, this isn't mine, this is Bill's. Where's mine? Sorry, Bill, if you didn't want your project on YouTube. I thought I had mine up somewhere. Let's see. Alright, so this is mine. And I'm pretty sure I did it with this. There we go. That's what I was looking for, this syntax here. Okay. So, looking for event. I could probably shorten this to E. Save a bit. And I don't need the first part. And when I was doing it before, that was a stateless functional component, so I need to add this props to this one for it to work. And what did we call it? We called it set category. Alright, so this props target value. Okay, so let's check it out. We'll save that, and then I'm also gonna add into this function a good old console log, just to see what we're getting. In case it doesn't work, we'll see what we're getting right away. So let's test it out. Nothing happened. Alright, let's see. Maybe I just didn't refresh. It's possible that my... Oh, I guess it's not. Alright, let's try it one more time. Okay. So it's not being triggered. So our onChange event is not triggering anything. So we need... Actually, let me look at this project again, because I'm pretty sure I have a select drop down in the project. So is it here in both? Yeah, this is a select. It's onChange. Oh, okay, I see what's happening. Alright, let's try... Sorry, I'm not talking, I'm thinking now. Oh, okay. I added this in for another reason, so this is irrelevant for what we're doing now. So onChange, this should work. Let's check out how I pulled it in though in the main component here. So move book, there we go. So I pulled it in here. So it's being pulled in as shelf. Yeah, it looks like it's working in here. Alright, let's check this out again and see what's going on. Okay, so maybe it's just something silly, like I misspelled something. Okay, so we have set category, cat num, so onChange, we're going to get the value, right? Let's just take this out for a second. And see if we can get a console log of this. Nope, not getting anything. Nope, nothing. Okay, I'm gonna go to the live chat because it's possible that some of you have already figured out what my problem is, and I've been foolishly ignoring the live chat. Alright, so I'm gonna scroll up to about the time when I first started having the problem. I see there's some questions in here. I will come back and get to the questions as soon as we get this working. Well, okay, so I'm just kind of scanning through to see, and someone says, Jay says, there's a grandma in Japan that's 86 years old and learned how to develop an app. That's awesome. Oh, Xana said she lived in Japan for 2 years. That's awesome. I would love to live in Japan. I'm a big fan of sushi and ramen, and it would be amazing to go there because there's so many places to get sushi and ramen. Where I live, you can't buy ramen anywhere, like at a restaurant. They just don't have it. I'd have to drive into Pittsburgh to find a ramen place, and even in Pittsburgh, there's not many places you can go to get it. Sushi. There are like 2 sushi restaurants near where I live, but they're not really good. I mean, it's okay. It doesn't taste bad, but it would be cool. I like the Japanese culture as well. There's a lot of cool things about it. Okay, so it looks like there's a lot of awesome conversation going on in the live chat, but not exactly related to my problem. So let's get back to the research. So I'm actually going to bring over, I usually don't do research on this screen, but I'm going to now. So let's say, see, I want to think now if I've gotten the value from a select input in one of my previous projects, aside from the one I just checked. I think I have, but let's see if it's all right. Cool, so evidently this is, wow, sorry, I just saw this on the side here. Anybody looking for a job, senior software developer, $130,000 to $150,000 a year, and you can work remote. That sounds like a great deal. That would be, that's like so much more than I make right now. I can't even imagine what that would be like. Okay, let's see, this set state. Yeah, this is pretty much what we're doing. we're getting the target value. We have on change. Alright, let me check the code again. It seems like we're doing what, I'm doing pretty much the same thing in another site that I worked on earlier this week, and it worked. And it's also pretty much the same thing that we just saw in the Stack Overflow page there. So what is the problem? Oh, I want to check one thing. Where's my... So I want to check how I pass this. Book. Oh, okay. Is this the problem then? Yeah, I think this is the problem. Alright, so there's definitely a difference in how I pass this in. So that makes sense. This is the only thing I really haven't checked over yet. So let's find that material select. So I did that kind of fast, so I'm not sure if anybody caught it, but you'll see it now. So basically I was just passing in this function like that, but that isn't how I did it in my other project that worked. So basically what I need to do now is get what I'm passing here is, I guess I can call it whatever I want. What was I calling it? Cat. And then I call this and set category. Okay, so this makes more sense as to how it was working. I don't know what I was thinking earlier. So yeah, so this will then should work, maybe. I'm still a little worried though that even our console log didn't work, but let's take this out and set it to what we had it at before. And make sure I save it in both places, and now let's give it a try. Okay, not working. Let me check out, I want to check out what state is. Why is it not showing me where state is? I guess I can check out what the props are at least. Some things. Categories. Okay, I'm gonna check the live chat again. Oh, okay, it looks like Oliver has put something in here. This sets the category and not this prop sets the category. You've copied from a stateless component. Oh, good catch. Good catch. Actually, let me see. It's this set category and not this prop set category. You have copied from a stateless component. Okay, so you're saying this. Actually, this should be, right? This should be this props category. So the other component I used was a stateless functional component. So it was just this set category. But in this case, I need to have this props, correct? So I don't think I read the comment out loud. So sorry. The comment was talking about the difference between using this .set category versus this props set category. So on my other example here, I used, well, I guess I had clicked over, but on my other example, I had a stateless functional component, so I just had to do props set category. Right? Yeah. So at this point, the only change that I can think of, the only thing that's different, that's really different between these, are the fact that there's some other stuff going on here. It's not just a normal select input. So maybe what I need to look up is maybe, hey, all right, there's a GitHub issue for this. Okay. So someone else using Materialize wants to get the value okay, but all these examples, using Jquery. I don't want to use Jquery. Also, it's a different. All right, I'll check one more, and then we'll try a few things. Yes. All right. Materialized CSS with React Jas. Well, let's see what's going on here. Okay, so there was an answer, but I'm not sure whether or not it worked. It has no votes. It wasn't selected. This is pretty much the exact situation that we have, but this is a little odd. So it's saying to put a wrapper around it all and then track this change event inside component did mount. I don't know. Any thoughts on this method? I'm not really sure that this is really the best way to go. I mean, if it works, it works, but it seems to me like there's got to be a more straightforward way of doing it. Alright, I'm going to check the live chat again because I think I have asked a few questions and then never checked. Oh, it looks like we now have a Slack channel. That's cool. So Vibe have created a Slack channel. It's fcc.pairprogramming.slack.com. So that's pretty cool. We also have a channel, an IRC channel on Freenode, and it's hashtag FCCJesse, so FCCJESSE. So we have that. Actually, I haven't logged into that channel for a little while. I have to remember, I had kind of forgotten to log in. Oh, okay. Umberto said maybe it's time to restart the server. So that's actually a good idea. It has happened in the past that I couldn't figure out what is going on, and then I restart the server and somehow it works. It's worth a shot. Oh well, not working. All right. Now, I'm gonna run through every line, and I'm gonna look at every line and just to see. Maybe the weird thing is I didn't see any error messages. I mean, any new error messages. But let me read them because I usually get a lot. Should have unique key prop. Okay, I probably should give the key prop. Default value select. Okay, so this is a warning related to the value on the select option. So it's possible that that is messing something up. These are just related to using localhost. Okay, so let me see this resource row. I thought I had added a key, but I guess I didn't. I guess I'll have to pass in. I get it doesn't really matter. There's no way that that is messing up what I'm doing now, but I will need to put a unique key on there, and I'll just use the ID, the WordPress ID. But for now, let's check this out again. So let me look. I guess I could test and see if something is messing it up because we're changing it with Jquery. So I could stop initializing it, and then let's refresh. So it's going to be invisible for now, so I'm going to have to change it manually. So this select is it's set to display none, so we'll just kind of manually get rid of that. We'll check out. Okay, so it's still not happening, so it's probably not due to what's going on, since it's still not working. The other thing I can check out is the actual data. So the key, we have a value. Let me remove this, because we were getting a warning related to that, and we could oops, let me initialize this again. Okay, still didn't do anything except to change so that choose a category isn't displayed right away. I'm gonna look at this again. Wow. Well, I'm really surprised. I didn't think it was going to be this difficult to just get the value from this. Let me check out. Okay, so Patrick has pasted in a link to a GitHub issue. So let's see. We'll check it out. I'll bring it over. So okay, cool. So this is the on-change event for select is not propagated. Yeah, this actually, thanks, Patrick. This seems like this could be exactly our problem, is that nothing's happening for that on-change event. Even when we just wanted a simple console log, we didn't get anything. So this is probably what's happening here, is the on-change event is not... It's not firing. No, it's probably firing, but it's just not registering at all. Alright, so I do want to check out... I'll change this. Okay, so let's go down a bit then to this. It's always good when you go through an issue in GitHub, whichever one has the most cool emojis is probably the best answer. If you only remember one thing from today's stream, remember that. Just look for all the emojis. Okay, well, let's try it. This is actually somewhat similar to that other Stack Overflow thing that I saw, because it was using component did mount. So change select function. Just going to scroll through really quick to see if there's something with even more emojis. Okay. The only thing I don't like about this is it's still using Jquery. Wait a second. Okay, so anyway, I read this, and which it seems like this is similar to what they're saying. Is basically like a container around it. Should work. So I guess we could at least test it out to see if it would work. So the first thing I'm going to test out, basically, I know this is saying put it in component did mount and then binding this, but based on the other thing that I read, it's possible that if we wrap this in a div, that we could get an event to fire based on that div. unless I'm reading this wrong, which is possible because at this point it's starting to get a bit frustrating. Okay, yeah, that seems like what it's saying. So this is just going to be really simple for now. Just seeing if I can get an event to fire. Ooh. Hey. We got it to fire once. Okay, so we got one change. Well, did we get another one? Let's see. No, we just got one. We got one change. Come on. Alright, so that's not going to help us. Okay, I'm gonna check the live chat again because now I'm starting to see some other things here. Set the value on the select element. T. Anderson says set the value. Let's see. Oh yeah, Patrick says I can just replace the Jquery with the document get element by ID. Yeah, that's true. Razvan wants someone to say hi. Hi, Razvan. Okay, and Oliver says try just simply passing the function name this prop set category on changes. Yeah. So actually, I kind of want to try this now because I don't think we ever tried it with just the console log and nothing else. Let's see if we can get a response. Okay. Shoot. Once again, we're just getting one. Shoot. Looks like we've got 1, 2. So we've gotten 2. So we get... Hey, Fabian's here. How's it going, Fabian? Alright, I will will have to, let's see. Yeah, whether or not we get it working, I'll have to stop with the coding and do some question and answer here, and maybe, I don't know, like 15 minutes. So we'll try and get this working. So anyway, so let me just go back to the GitHub issue on React, and let's just try some of this stuff. Okay. Oh, what is this? Actually, that's a good answer. Just use a different thing. Oh, it looks like the link does not work. I was just looking, I was wondering what, because obviously we're not using a function named handle select change. Okay, Fabian. Yeah, I'm doing all right, Fabian. I'm just stuck on something that should be easy, and in fact, something that I have working on another site that I got working just a few days ago, and for some reason it's not working here. All right, so let's. Yeah, I want to go back to what we had before. So I've changed a lot of stuff. So I want to start from the beginning of where we had it. Oops. I don't want to go that far back. Okay. Alright, so this is what we initially started with. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Patrick says mentioned the on change didn't even fire at all. It was just calling it console log on load. Yeah, so that it wasn't really wasn't really helping. So it was probably, we was probably calling it twice because once the data came in and everything re-rendered, then it got called again. Okay, so we're gonna try Patrick's advice is let's replace the this props with console log e and see what's going on. Okay, we'll see. I mean, since it wasn't even firing, I'm not even sure what we're gonna get. Let me do a refresh. And let's change. No, we're not getting anything. Dang it. I think I accidentally clicked on a link. Now my dev server is frozen. Okay, and actually I had removed that earlier, and then it came back when we went back to everything, so. Okay, so let's check out. Let's inspect it. All right, I gotta go out in the hallway for a second.
Give me an update by Friday if you would.
That's good. Okay. Yeah, there's definitely a chunk of it that I could leave off and everything would still look like it's finished. So if I have to,
right.
Leave off. But yeah.
Just make sure. I want to make sure you're aware of that because the 17th Bosco starts, and I don't know when they're going to be doing their show and tell, but I know that they are. So whatever you don't get done, then you got 2 days when you get back to see what you can polish. So the main thing is to, on the 19th, if you can't get everything done, it's got to be in a good place because you are not touching that for the next 3 months.
It'll be, I have things sorted out, so like, here's things that can be left off I don't get to them, so they're all prepared for that.
It's okay, I just want to remind you, we haven't talked, I've been trying to leave you alone, but.
No, that's good, yeah, I guess this blows me, like, I'm working on like an hour shot from that, so it's good to have a little break.
Maybe you need some fresh air. He needs fresh air too. He's been staring at photos for like 2 solid days. Between the two of you, you're
trying to do some of it. It should be simple, but I've done plenty of times before, and for some reason it's not working this time. Like I just did the exact same thing a few days ago on a different project, like that I'm doing for my course, and it worked. It's like I literally copy and pasted it, and it doesn't work in this.
I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, it's fine. It's probably good for my thought to break away from. Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. Take a walk. Go get some fresh air.
Okay. Sorry for the interruption there, but that was the head of my department, so kind of had to take that because that was my boss's boss's boss, so I really couldn't leave her waiting. And she was actually asking about the site that I'm working on right now, and reminding me that once the 20th comes, I am done with this site no matter what. So to make sure that whatever state it's in on the 20th is reasonable, and you know, it'll look like it's a finished site, which I don't think should be a problem. It looks like it's a finished site right now, at least the version that's live. So if I have to leave something off, I'll probably leave off the news section that's supposed to function like a blog, because right now there's not really a lot of content, and so that's probably the section that has the least amount of content, so it would, I guess, be okay if we left it off. So anyway, I'm going to check the live chat quickly just to see what I missed for the few minutes that I was gone. And let's see. Okay, looks like I didn't really miss. There was some conversation, but not directly related to our issue. Tell you what, here's what I want to do. It occurred to me that this is actually like really weird. So our issue was related to this being materialized framework, right? I mean, that's what we were thinking, and that's what we're looking at. But when I didn't initialize it as a materialized input, we still had an issue. So if that's the case, then maybe the issue is not, maybe there's like two issues potentially. Maybe there's another issue. So I'm going to try this again. Let's do this, and let me remove this class of input field, because it's possible that Materialize is picking up on that class. Our options, I think everything else is fine. And let's try this out now and see if we get anything. The only other thing I could think of is potentially it's a problem that all of these options are being added in after the fact. And we could certainly test that out easily by hard coding some options and seeing if that's the case. If it is the case, all these options, then maybe we'd have to put something to fix that in component did update. But for now, let's just try this. No, it shouldn't have done that. It should have. There we go. Actually, let me put oops, I need two. So since Materialize by default puts display none on select inputs, I'm gonna display block. And then that way I don't have to keep doing that. Alright, so here's display. Let's change it up and see. Alright, so let me bring this over. So we have, and I have so much stuff. Let me do this again so we can just get a more clean looking setup here. Okay. So look, we've gotten something, right? Which is better than what we had before. If it comes down to it, I'm fine with just doing a bit of styling on this. I'm not tied down to using the Materialized input. I've actually I've been unable to use the materialized style input on a few other projects that I had, and I've been able to style it in such a way that it looks decent, not quite as polished as the materialized input. So that's fine. And we can I can definitely change it. Also, I'm wondering if so basically what's happening is on this select input, Materialize is just changing what you see into a list, right? And then making that list behave basically like a drop-down. Potentially, if you wanted to keep that same style, all we would have to do is, instead of having a select input, we just made a list and just had click handles, like, you know, when you clicked on a certain thing on the list, then it updated. I'd rather not have to go through all that, but those are two alternatives that I'm thinking of to just completely bypass all of this stuff. So at this point, I'm convinced now, upon seeing that, let's see. Upon seeing that this actually is working when I have Materialize disabled, then it's definitely materialized. Okay, see, and then we got a value. So we got the value we want. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put back in here what we were originally going to have, which I guess was let's just go back to get what we had before. Okay, so that's what we had before, and then I'm just going to add this one again. I'm going to take this out and leave that off just for now. I'll probably just completely remove everything, but when we do this, hopefully we can get the filtering working and check. Oh, what just happened? They are reps. Oops. Wait a second. Select. Oops. Left off a bracket. There we go. Okay. So let's try it now. Come on, let me just do. Okay, so it's actually not working. Shoot. It's console logging, and we got rid of our console log, right? Do we still have one in here? Oh, you know what? We might not actually be using this filter. I'll have to check. So this must be the console log that's actually working. Resources. Yeah, so it's coming from the resource page. So that's the console log that's working. It should be setting the state correctly. Let's go down to where our filters are. Okay, yeah, maybe we don't have a filter for that. So let's do that. What do I want to filter? So I'm going to filter and actually, what did it? Sorry, I forgot what I called that. Actually, I had the price filter. Where did I put the price filter in? Sorry. Trying to figure this out. What the heck? So my price filter is not working either. I had the price filter working before too. What did I do? That's really odd. Okay. Filter by category. Do I need to put in? I think that's how I do it. I had all my windows are out of the order I want them to be in. There we go. Is that not what I called it? Oh, I need to be, it needs to be this. Sorry about that. This dots. All right. It did something. Not exactly. I wanted it. Something happened. Okay. Not exactly what we wanted, but it's better than nothing. Okay. I think I'm just gonna have to stop for now and figure this out tomorrow because I do have an appointment at 5 that I'll have to leave for soon, and I want to get to your questions. So just to try to wrap up somewhat as much as I can here, the plan is basically to not use the materialize input and instead just to style the input a bit so that it looks good as it can, or potentially make some type of custom drop down thing, and then it would look similar to this input, but it would in fact be a list. Also, figure out what's going on with this filtering. It's doing something, but not exactly what we want it to do. So I'll just have to go through and try some things out. I'm trying to think what else. That's about it. I mean, probably if I can get that done, the search works. These work. So basically just getting these two done, it'll be functional, completely functional in terms of what we want it to do. Could probably use a bit of polishing up the UI, but it'll do what we want it to do. So this is really close to being functionally ready. So I'll need to check. I also want to check to make sure that the posts actually are linked up with the categories. I suspect that they are, but I just want to double check it's not that, because if it's the case that we have categories but they're not linked to posts, then that would explain why we're getting nothing here. It wouldn't explain why they're not showing back up when I click all, but anyway, so that's the plan. So I'll probably work on that tomorrow or maybe tonight. I'm kind of thinking I'm going to have to put in some work on this at night to get it to where it needs to be. Anyway, so let me go back. I'm going to go back to the live chat. I know there's a ton of stuff in here, so I'm going to try to get through as much as I can before I have to leave. So if you do have a question, you could put it in there now. I'll try to get to it. If I happen to not get to it, you can message me on Twitter. The link's in the description. Or you can put it in the comments for this video. Or you could just wait till tomorrow and ask me then. Okay, so I'm scrolling through these. I'm going pretty quick so I can get to the questions, so it's possible I might miss a question. So I'm sorry if I miss any questions. Okay, Sumit had a question about a contact list in an app, a web app that they're building. So I'm not sure. There wasn't. So Sumit, if you're still here, if you're still listening, I need a bit more info. If you want to send me a link, if you have like your project on GitHub or something, then I could check it out. But I'm not sure I could give you a good answer, just from, the info that could be put in the live chat. It'd probably be better if I could see the code. So you can direct message me on Twitter, and I'll check it out. Okay, cool. Gino says, I've signed up today. I assume signed up for a free code camp, and in 2 hours I finished the HTML and CSS. Tomorrow Bootstrap. That's awesome. That's really cool. All right, so aim high. Yeah, sorry. I asked you a question about your job, and then I got sidetracked with the coding, and so I didn't read your answer. So sorry about that. But here's the answer. So aim high got a job recently, and we're all really excited. So it says first week has been brilliant. Working on a project with 30 million users every month. Team of 4 developers. That's awesome. That's really, really cool. Yeah, congratulations on that. And Aim High says loving it. So really happy for you. That sounds great. 30 million users a month. That's a lot. That's amazing. Jane asks, is FF developer edit on good for coding? I'm not really sure what that is. So I'm sorry. I mean, Jane, if you're still around, you could explain a bit more. I'm just not understanding the question. Gino asks, what do I need to learn to be a front-end web dev? If you're already going through the freeCodeCamp stuff, if you just keep going through the freeCodeCamp front-end thing, that'll teach you a lot. I definitely work on some projects, as you pick up skills, because you'll need to know how to do your own projects and set up things like that. So I would, for now at least, be starting out, freeCodeCamp will be a great start for you. And that's Aim High gave similar advice. Oh, also Aim High says go onto Dribble and try to convert complex designs into code using HTML and CSS. That's really good advice. I like that. Oh, cool. John said Google Developer Tools has a way to see all unused CSS rules in each page, makes it quick to find this content. Cool. Yeah, I used that when it was on Chrome Canary, and it was really cool at that point. I don't think it was ready, but now it's in Chrome, like the normal version of Chrome. So I'll have to use it. I haven't used it in a while, but that's a great idea. Evo said, just heads up, that Chrome tool it did cause some trouble before searching for it. So let's see. Alright, so I'm gonna skip. I gotta go in just a few minutes, so unfortunately I'm gonna have to skip a lot of just like the comments in the live chat, but I will be able to hopefully answer any questions. Okay, Sebastian has a question about an app that he's building, about updating state. So Sebastian, if you want to send me a link, if you have it on GitHub and can share, I'd be happy to check it out. Gino asks, what types of code do I need to learn to be front-end web dev? Got some answers in the live chat, which are good, but just for everyone else that's watching, that maybe can't see the live chat, if you're watching later on, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. If you only learn those, you can build web apps, front-end and back-end. If you want to branch out and you know what you want specifically, like you could pick up PHP if that's where you want to go into. WordPress is built with PHP, Drupal, Joomla. So it kind of depends on where you want to go. But if you're not sure what exactly you want to do yet within front-end web development, and I should say if you want to just stick to front-end, you really don't need a back-end language like PHP. But HTML, CSS, JavaScript is you'll be solid if you really focus on that. Okay. All right, we had some discussions about languages and different things to learn. Oh, Sebastian said he had to go like an hour ago, so he didn't hear any of my responses. So maybe he'll be able to catch the recording. VibeHave asked, does FreeCodeCamp have backend dev streams? Actually, right now I think I'm the only live coding stream on FreeCodeCamp, but we might get some new people. We were talking on Twitter. I was talking on Twitter with a few other people who were interested in maybe like being on this stream and like adding some commentary and talking. And then Quincy joined in and offered to say, you know, they could come on and actually do their own stream if they wanted to. So that's possible. I don't know. Nothing's been set officially yet, but it's possible it could be coming. Oh, I just saw Xana's comment. Sushi is nowhere quite like in Japan. Yeah, that's what I've heard. I'd really love, like a while back I was talking about sushi, so it's in it was in response to that. Now I really want some sushi now that I'm thinking about it. Alright, almost to the bottom of the live chat. Guess not really a whole lot of questions today. A lot of activity in the chat, which is awesome. Oh, here's the question. It says, almost everyone can learn front-end development for free. What do you think? Will web developing sphere become overcrowded? Xana says, no, there'll be more jobs than coders. Yeah, there's definitely way more jobs than coders right now, and it doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon. So I wouldn't worry about that, because you can learn to code for free, but that doesn't guarantee that there's quality coders. You know, people who are really dedicated and work hard at it will be the good ones and get the jobs. So I think in terms of, to me, I think it's more important to think of like people who are quality coders who really can do the jobs, and not just necessarily people who say, hey, it's free to learn how to code, I can learn. Because as long as there's a shortage of quality coders who really know what they're doing, there'll always be jobs out there. Because just because you can go out for free and learn what to do, you won't necessarily get a job unless you actually are decent. So in that sense, I don't think the market's going to get flooded with so many coders just because it's free to learn. And Jeremy says, in LA, in Los Angeles, there's plenty of companies looking for front-end devs, so cool. Oh, cool. Andrew joined in. Hey, Andrew. Oh, Andrew, debounced is working great. Thanks so much. I talked about it at the beginning of the show. Like, super helpful. I was really impressed with that. Oh, cool. Andrew says, bought 2 big React Redux courses from Udemy for $20. So that's a great deal. That's cool. Keep us updated on how the courses are, and if they're good, then let us know. Those might be a good investment for learning React. Okay, cool. So I've gotten to the end of the live chat, and unfortunately I have to go. But I hate to leave this unfinished, and I know I did skip over a lot of good conversation in the chat, but I'll be back tomorrow and hopefully this problem will be solved by the time I stream tomorrow, and I'll let you know how it went and how I ended up solving it. And so I guess, yeah, probably same time tomorrow. I don't think I have any meetings or anything. Thanks so much for all your help in the chat today, and for helping so many people who came in, newer people who had questions. They're just so much good advice, and I really, really appreciate that. Also, thanks for creating the Slack channel. So that's cool. Yeah, if somebody, yeah, I'll have to remember to check out the Slack channel and put a link in. It's fccpairprogramming.slack.com. So if you're interested, check that out. But I gotta go now. I gotta hurry up and go to my appointment, and it's thunderstorming outside, so I should probably leave a bit early. And anyway, I'll see everyone tomorrow, and have a great day.